Hey there people, it's Fresh Marks to another fresh review, aka Zest for Life. Today I'll be reviewing fragrances that are pick-me-up fragrances. These are warm, ambery, slightly spiced. Some of them are fresh fragrances that will pick you up, almost minty and refreshing. And others have a woody touch with a certain quality that reminds you that you are at home. So let's get straight into these comforting fragrances that I use when I'm outside. I did do an episode that was similar to this, pick-me-up fragrances and comforting fragrances. However, this is almost like a second edition to it. So stay tuned for this. Get straight into the first fragrance I want to mention is Serge Lutens Churguay. Now, I wouldn't initially start a fragrance review of summer fragrances as well with a tobacco fragrances, because it does sometimes have a musty, slightly dusty, suede-ish undertone when the heat interacts with a tobacco fragrance. It could be slightly suffocating. However, Churguay by Serge Lutens has a very nice almost saffron-like sweetness with the tobacco, because they use tobacco leaf, a bit of spice as well, like cumin and black pepper, and then there is a nice creamy soft May rose note, May rose or Bulgarian rose note, which is creamy, soft, almost like a pink rose, but it is made more masculine with that tobacco fragrance that reminds me of Dolce & Gabbana, the one EDP, if you smelled that before. However, it has a slightly more creamy and smooth finish, because the sandalwood in the base is smooth and the creaminess comes from coumarin in the base, along with that May rose note and a slight touch of hay as well to give it a earthy feel. So earthy, spicy, warm, ambery, generally a very comforting and smooth fragrance, great for date nights and when you're coming home as well and you want to embrace the one that you love. Churguay by Serge Lutens is a very spicy, warm, ambery fragrance. Definitely check it out. Along with that theme, let's carry on with Ultra Male by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Now, this is one of my favorite fragrances for the reason that it's refreshing with a bergamot note on top, that bergamot and pear-like apple note, let's say, on top, with the sweetness of saffron, which is a note that I love, and then it goes into a vanillic, they say there's black vanilla in here. There's no, I mean, all vanilla is black when you take it out of the husk, unless you're talking about the vanilla flower. So black vanilla and black amber are sort of like fantasy notes, but they add a certain darkness to this. And the aromatic tone comes from the note of caraway seed, which is almost, it's used in bakery, in baking, so with bread and the like, to give a sort of a toasted sweetness, let's say, aromatic sweetness. So along with that sweetness of saffron, it almost feels like there's almond in here. However, it strays away from the marzipan feeling by adding more refreshing pear-like note on the top, and in the base the vanilla strays away from that, albeit it does have a nice sandalwood note. However, this is just a touch. This is a spicy, refreshing, cool, midnight blue scent with an exotic twist of saffron. So it's cooling, exotic, sweet, and is also known as an ambery fragrance, let's say, because it does have that black amber in the base, fancy note. The next one is Dior Homme Intense EDP. Now this is the best of the line, because it includes, although all of them have iris, this has a pronounced woody, fresh cedar note that is overpowered in the perfume. I believe that they add the oud note, and that really distracts from the initial beauty of the perfume. There's a soft, waxy, woody, waxy iris, and the woody nature of cedar and musk mallow combine to create something sweet, great for formal occasions, slightly vanillic, but it's very naturally sweet, and there is coumarin in the base. I've recently been very attached to coumarin fragrances for their comforting milk chocolate nature, because we all like a bit of milk chocolate, and I think this is no different. This has a note of cacao as well, so it does remind you of being home with nice fresh cedar, and also that cacao, which is very alluring and sweet and great for formal wear. Dior Homme Intense, you have to try it. Dior Homme Intense EDP, you have to try it to know what I'm talking about, because my description doesn't really do it justice. Definitely check it out in store. Next one is Jean-Paul Gaultier's Andre edition. Now this is a smooth summertime minty fresh effervescent scent that includes a note of aldehydes and iso-E super with the sandalwood. So there is a minty geranium with aldehydes on top. Lavender is in the middle with orange blossom. Sorry, it doesn't have lavender. It has orange blossom. It has orange blossom. And yes, nice sandalwood in the base, which keeps it creamy and soft. So this is almost like a laid back beach fragrance, I'd say. Very not so aquatic, but refreshingly herbal, minty, soft, effervescent, and the geranium is very well placed in here with the aldehydes to keep it as a very revitalizing fragrance. Definitely check it out. Jean-Paul Gaultier's Andre edition. And the final one that gets me in a celebratory mood, when I was just, if you don't have any energy and you thought, you know, how am I going to pick myself up from 0 to 10 if I'm coming back from work, I want to go straight out to a party, this is your answer. Jardin exclusive by Mancera definitely puts the celebratory vibes on with a fruity, natural. This mixes synthetic notes with natural notes to create a very celebratory apple fruit note in the top note. This is like Jolly Rancher apple, so it's very candied, effervescent, so very candied, sweet, not so natural. However, the jasmine is very natural and ambiguous, keeps it salty, pluming a little bit further with the ciliage as well, drawing out the ciliage so it expands very far with its reach, let's say. This is smelt from anyone inside the same room or anyone walking by, because it's a powerhouse fragrance. All Mancera fragrances are powerhouse fragrances, I'd say, except the exception of just a few, and I don't even remember them because there's so few of them. Jardin exclusive definitely brings out celebratory vibes with nice soft natural jasmine that's uplifting to the senses. The violet is smooth, it leads into sandalwood, ambiguous, and there is it's almost like apple, caramel, jasmine, and sandalwood, and the ambiguous gives it a salted caramel feel. So definitely mixing gourmand with fruits and floral. Jardin exclusive is the one, and that is the last one for my uplifting pick me up fragrances. I hope you enjoyed the list. Let me know what you think in the comments section about this. Stay free and stay fresh.